Greetings. Hello. See me up here? Isn't it neat? Leadership, interdisciplinary leadership students, Management 1010, online students. Isn't it wonderful that we can choose an environment that is anywhere to study leadership? This is an exciting course, and I think that you're going to like it. My name's Dr. Joan McGrory. You can call me Dr. Joan, and I'm going to be your instructor for this class. And I hope that you're going to like it as much as I do. Now, I have a lot of stuff to talk about, so this is going to be a little bit of a long video, and I do apologize for that, but let me come to you live and meet you this way. Okay, hopefully you've gotten into pause, and might have to do a secondary video and clip it together to show you how to do some of those things. I'm probably going to send you an email through both your Southwest account as well as the pause account, but as you know, if you've read the syllabus, pause is our meeting place. It is our course management tool, and all communications that are related to this class have to go through pause. Okay? Alright, now if you're in pause, if you're not in pause, I'm going to show you where to get some of these things. But if you've gone out into pause, you've seen a couple things already, hopefully. Really, really hopefully. Okay? One is the syllabus. Now, you need to read this. I realize it's a little bit long, but I've got some nice little clips that I've put in here of some leaders that we're going to study throughout our textbook, and so I hope that you look at those, especially because during this weekend we are honoring with a day of service Martin Luther King. Of course, Monday is his holiday, so Dr. King, and so he's one of the leaders that we study, as well as Gandhi, and as you may know, Dr. King studied Gandhi's style, so I think you'll really enjoy a lot of our studies. We have so many neat things to get into. You will see your textbook information. Now, the textbook, folks, for this class, you have got to have it. It is a necessity. Now, if you have bought your textbook, or you've ordered your textbook, you're waiting for it, or it's back ordered, whatever the situation may be, there is a copy of the textbook on reference at the library. Now, I'm always amazed that students don't know what the word on reference means. In fact, that people will email me and say, well, the library wouldn't let me take it out of the library. That's right. That's what on reference means. Okay, so you might have to go up to the front desk and say, my instructor is Dr. Joan McGrory. I'm in Management 1010, Interdisciplinary Leadership, and I need to see the textbook for that, which is on reference. Don't tell them you're not there to get the textbook, to buy the textbook, right? It's on reference. And you can sit at a computer there and do your reading, complete the quizzes. Got to have that textbook. Boy, it is essential for this. But like I said, you can do your work in the library and use the textbook that's on reference. Okay, so go through and look at all that. And I'm flipping through some pages because I'm not going to read the syllabus to you in this video. You can do that. I do talk about the requirements for communication, and that you're going to have to go through the pause email. Goodness, we get to, now, here's the part that you really want to know about. Round about page 7, and that's the page that two of our leaders, Chief Joseph the Elder and Chief Joseph the Younger, we're going to study them throughout our leadership studies, are included on this. And they're right above the section titled Methods of Evaluation. So you will see from that you have a quiz, starting with an orientation quiz for pause. And then you have a chapter quiz, and that's due every week. So you need to hurry up and get on the reading so that you can do 2 assignments that are related to chapter 1. Now, as you read this section on the syllabus, okay, let's look at this little piece here. This confuses students. I don't know why it confuses students. It says, for each quiz, you have unlimited attempts. That means you can take the quiz 1 time, 2 times, 27 times, 53 times, 102 times. Okay, you can just keep on repeating that quiz over and over and over and over and over again, right? The questions are randomized. The questions are drawn from a pool of questions, meaning that the questions will be different each time. But every time you take that quiz, you're doing 2 things. You are immersing yourself in the knowledge. So you'll be looking at the reading and you'll say, oh yes, I remember that part, and oh, I didn't really see that relationship before, but now I see it. So that's one thing, you'll be immersing yourself in the knowledge. And two, you will be directly studying for the exam, because the exam questions come directly from the chapter quiz questions. Okay, so there's two benefits to doing that. Now, when you take these quizzes an unlimited number of times, which one of your grades counts? Was it the first one? Is it the last one? That's not what it says here in the syllabus. And as an online student, you have got to really step up to the plate and be responsible for reading and understanding the syllabus. What it says in the syllabus is that there is a minimum score. You got to make a 70% or better. If your quiz score is a 65, then you did not earn 65% of the points. You earned 0 points. If you make a 70% or better, and folks, you are all at least a C student. I hope you're an A student, maybe a B student, but shoot for an A. Don't say, well, I got a D and that's good enough. You don't want to do that, especially not with unlimited attempts. So you've got to make a 70% or above. So that's one factor that influences. We say, yeah, but I've got all of these grades, and when I first took it, I made 100. And then I took it again and I made a 65. That's okay. Only count the 100%. Only the highest score counts. That's all explained here in the syllabus. So you need to be able to read that. I'm always amazed at students who say, well, I didn't know that. How did you not know? Right there in the syllabus, all right? Okay. Read the syllabus. So you'll read through all that. Those are the quizzes. On the next page, and I'm on page 8 of the syllabus, there are some additional assignments, and I want to talk to you about those in this introductory video. These are called writing assignments. Now, I once had a student say to me, well, I'm not going to write a whole bunch of papers. Well, first of all, then I guess you just won't get the points, but, you have decisions to make, and there are consequences to those decisions. But the reality is, these are not long and drawn-out papers. I've got 5 of them here, and I would actually really refer to them more as forms that you fill out. So the first writing assignment, you're going to go into the pause drop box, and you're going to go into pause, go into our course. You're going to see a link across the top, I'll show you this soon, called Dropbox. When you click on that link to open it, you're going to see instructions, and actually at the very bottom of those instructions, there's going to be a link to a document, a Microsoft Word document. So you open it up. Now, you're going to use Microsoft Word. If you don't have Microsoft Word on your computer, then maybe you need to go to the nearest public library computer, or maybe you need to go to a friend's house where they have Microsoft Word, or maybe you need to go to the campus where you can sit at one of the computers on campus and use one of their computers which has Microsoft Word on it, okay? Now, you open the form. The form is going to ask you, especially in this first one, to take some of the things that you have read about in Chapter 1 and answer questions that uses your reading in a movie that you're going to watch. The name of the movie is 12 O'Clock High, and if you recognize that name, it's a classic, okay? In fact, when I say classic, it's a really old movie, okay? It's been around for forever, and it's actually been used in leadership training for forever, and it's really interesting. And after you do your reading, and you have that paper in front of you as you're watching the movie, and you're jotting down notes, and you can have your family and friends interact with you, because I'm going to ask you about Captain Davenport and all the characters in there. You're going to compare some leadership. I don't want to give anything away. You're going to compare some leadership styles, and you may find that members of your family even see things a little bit different, but you'll watch it with a different eye as you study this demonstration of leadership, okay? So the characters are demonstrating things that you're studying. Now, there is a due date on that. How do you know the due dates? Well, first of all, Pause. Pause is an online system, and it always has the due date listed next to the assignment, so you need to pay attention to that, because you can take your quizzes in unlimited time, but only until the due date. You can turn in the Dropbox assignment. You can turn in this, you will submit this paper into the Dropbox by the due date. Tempted to go off on a tangent, but I'm going to come back to that. So you're going to turn this in. You have, for this first assignment, 10 days to do it. That means reading, watching the movie, and completing the, I got to use my air quotes, paper, okay? It's a form. It's, you know, come on, you're college students. You can write a couple sentences here and a paragraph or two or three there, okay? So you can do that. So you need to get started, and that's important. Where do you get this movie? Well, you know, first of all, as students, I'm amazed at the resources that you have available to you. I will suggest resources to you, and students typically tell me, well, did you know you could get it here, and did you know you could get it there? So explore your resources. I can tell you that the movie is on reference at the library on the Macon campus. You can actually use the website, and in the assignment instructions, I tell you this, you can use the college's library website to reserve the movie. You can go and watch it on campus. They do have facilities there for you to watch the video on campus. The network channel MeTV tends to play that a lot, but I can't guarantee that, so you need to look at the schedule, and you need to be on the lookout for that. You know, explore things like Netflix, YouTube, you know, all kinds of things. Just go out there, but make sure, let me say this, don't email me and tell me, I couldn't get to it, because you've got 10 days, and you need to do it, and it is on reference at the library, so you do have access to it, okay? Now, let's talk about due dates just a little bit. You have 10 days to get started, and that's really, really important. The clock is ticking. Our semester started Thursday. I do see that many of you are in there working. I've got an attendance quiz that you need to answer so that I know that you are actively participating in the class. You don't want me to mark you absent, right? So you need to be exploring the online course management system, PAWS. But if the quiz says it has a due date, and you'll see it in PAWS, then you need to be done and have your highest score, get that 100% by the due date. If this assignment that I just showed you, I'm pointing to my papers on my desk here, if this assignment has to be submitted into the Dropbox by 11:55 p.m. on January the, when do I have that due, the 30th, then guess what? If you email it to me at 11:56 on the 30th, I will not take it. I will not take it. Oh, you're going to be so upset. Oh, so sad. You're going to say, but I tried it. I couldn't get. Well, guess what? You know why the system locked you out? Because your clock was wrong, and you thought it was 11:55, but the college clock, the computer system clock, is the one that matters. And you say, but that's not fair. Now, here's the problem. You waited until so close to the deadline that you caused yourself this problem. So, what am I telling you? I'm telling you that if that quiz is due on the PAWS orientation quiz is due on January 23rd, you want to be done today, right? Maybe tomorrow, maybe the 20th, maybe the 21st, but by the 23rd, you want to be way done with this so that you're not sweating it, okay? If you have the Chapter 1 quiz due on Wednesday, January the 30th, then again, you should be working on that today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. Have it done by Friday so that by next week you're beyond Chapter 1. In other words, you're working ahead. You're not saying, oh my goodness, it's 11 o'clock, it's 11:30, now it's 11:45, and I'm not going to be done on time. Don't get in that position. Get yourself a calendar. Speaking of Microsoft Word, you can actually click on File and then New. Don't just click New Document. Click File, New, and you'll find some templates like calendars. There's calendars on the internet. You can go to Google, they have calendars. Yahoo has calendars. Hotmail has calendars. Everybody's got calendars out there. Maybe you can print something and kind of mark it up with your due dates, and you can put for various classes and all this kind of stuff. In fact, if you go to the college campus, you can get a student planner and have all the rules and guidelines for being a student. There's a calendar in there as well with the holidays, and you could use that as your calendar. Whatever calendar you use. Get one with puppy dogs or pretty flowers or whatever you like. Get your due dates planned out, and make sure that you know that if that assignment has to be submitted by January the 30th, that you're done with it well in advance. So that due date's not even a concern to you other than when you plan your schedule, because you're done with that way in advance. Now, what I'm showing you here, in addition to the syllabus, which you can find online, this is a schedule. It's just a handy-dandy reference sheet that you can print off and use as a general guideline. Okay, so you've got a calendar and pause. Actually, I forgot to mention that one. That one's the obvious one. You've got the assignment due dates and pause. You've got this. You have that information available to you in a lot of places. But online students, one of the downfalls of being online is out of sight, out of mind. So I'll try to reach out to you throughout the semester and encourage you and make sure that you're on task, and I hope you appreciate that, but also to give you some important information such as this. So you'll get the hang of it. If it sounds overwhelming, right now what you have to think about is you have a pause orientation quiz that you need to do. You need to be doing your chapter 1 quiz, and you need to be doing your first writing assignment, which is watching 12 o'clock high and filling in the form that's in the Dropbox. Okay, so you can read some of the other information. SLO quiz or exam, I'll talk more about that later. You see that we have 3 tests throughout the semester. We have basically a midterm, one at the end of for the second half of the term, and then we have a comprehensive final. And you have drop grades. Make sure you read about your drop grades, right? Okay, there is some extra credit. That is in the form of that is in the form of service learning projects, and I'll talk more about that as we proceed throughout the semester. I want you to focus on the most critical things right now. The one thing I will say about extra credit is the common complaint, and I heard this, again as recently as last semester, is, well, I don't want to do that as extra credit. I don't want to do a service project for extra credit. Here we are, and you could actually be looking at doing a day of service project for Martin Luther King Day. Make sure you read the instructions in the syllabus. But I had students say, well, I'm just too busy to do that. Well, that's why we call it extra credit, okay? Also, if you come up with your own assignment about, somebody said, I'm going to watch this movie, and I'm going to watch it, and I can tell you about it. No, because that's not what I have outlined, okay? Also, a common thing that students ask for at the end of the semester is for assignments to be opened, due dates to be extended, and extra credit assignments along the lines of, if I write a 2-page paper, can we just call it even? Folks, I know you don't know me. We're going to get to know each other throughout the semester, but the answer is no, and I'm going to tell you I'm not going to bend on that, and many have tried and cried over that, okay? Because when I set those due dates out there, you're a leader. You are exercising leadership skills, and that means planning, and that means organizing so that you can get the assignment done and be successful in this. Actually talking about some management skills there rather than leadership, but that's okay. You're a student. You have some management skills. Organize yourself, get it done in advance. This is not a self-paced class. You have to do this in pace, otherwise you're going to get behind, it's going to snowball on you, and you tend to not be successful, okay? So make yourself successful. It's the start of the semester, and you can do it. Get yourself a calendar, print off the pause calendar, go buy you just a nice calendar that you like to look at. Organize your due dates and make sure you get everything done on time. Okay, now, so all that is explained in the syllabus, and including how many total points you can earn. That's down there at the bottom throughout the semester. And then on the next page, page 9, it says, how do I calculate my grade? What do I do? What is my grade? What is my grade? You already know because you keep up with it throughout the semester. All your grades are always available to you in pause. Click on the grades link. You're going to see all your grades. They'll be up to date. The quiz grades are available to you immediately. Your writing assignments, of course, I have to grade, but I will email you when I finish grading them. And one of the reasons I email you is because I always ask you to let me know if you see an error so that we resolve it within 48 hours. Otherwise, the grade stands. So that's the deadline, 48 hours for any grade issues, okay? But, again, that's just so that 15 weeks from now, when you're wearing shorts and flip-flops, you're not emailing me about January, okay? All right. So, final thing on that, down at the bottom, kind of the negative part of this leadership introduction, okay, is how do I round? And, I round like normal people round. If it's 0.5, then I round up, and if not, I round down. And if you're saying, oh, but come on, well, that's because you're already planning to fail, and I don't understand that at all. You should be saying, I'm not going to make a 79.3, I'm going to make 100, right? That's the goal, is to get for the highest, not to be at this point in the semester trying to just say, well, what if I barely squeak by? Would you carry me the rest of the way? No, you're not going to do that, okay? Now, the following pages just go into detail a little bit more. So here I am, basically on page 10. And as you look at the exams and the quizzes and things, especially the exams, you will see in big bold letters, no makeups. You have a drop grade. Got a drop grade. So something happens, tragedy strikes, and you are unable to complete exam number 1. That means that you've burnt your drop grade, you've used it up, and now you must do well on the other 2 tests. I hope that doesn't happen to you, but exam number 1, you see the due dates actually on your schedule and already out there in pause, and when you put your calendar together, make sure that you put that on there and you don't forget, you don't miss it, you don't have computer problems at 11 o'clock the night that it's due. Again, when did that problem happen? That problem happened back a couple days earlier, okay, because you knew you had that test to take, and you should have prepared to do it early, not late, okay? Okay, so there are no makeup exams. Due dates are not extended. They're real. When you see them out there, if it says it's due on a certain date at a certain time, that's when it's due. Okay, so get it done before then. You'll see some information about the SLO quiz, a little bit more detail. I will tell you more about that because that comes much later in the semester. Okay, final note on participation in this online class. Very, very important that you are checking your emails daily. I have messages like this and things that I'd like to communicate. It might be something that helps you meet a deadline or focus on something in a new way or understand something in a new way. Clear up some confusion, hopefully. So make sure you're checking the system daily, looking for messages, and of course reading your book daily, doing the quizzes repeatedly and daily, watching your movies and making sure that you've got your movie and you're ready to watch it, and working on your writing assignments. First couple come pretty quickly. So those were some of the things that I wanted to talk about, is your schedule and the syllabus. But I did want to introduce myself to you also, and just say welcome to this class. Folks, I got to tell you, don't tell anybody, this is my favorite class. I love this leadership class. It is a voyage of self-discovery as you look at frameworks. So you're looking at the literature, the academic frameworks, and you're saying, well, I'm kind of like this, or I'm kind of like that. Here's an example I commonly use when I teach this in the classroom. I say, think of Mother Teresa. She's deceased now, but she was quite the leader. I think most people would agree, right? Think of Colin Powell, another great leader. You can search his name on YouTube, and he has some inspirational points on leadership. 2 very good leaders. Now, take them, one is military general, one, working with the lepers in Calcutta, right, and swap them. Would that work? No, you might say, sure it would work. Would it work in the same way? I don't think so. Leadership styles vary, and you may be a mixture of a couple different styles. You may have a tendency towards one style, so it's really about understanding that. It also is going to help you understand the people around you. You may have a boss right now that as you read, you're going to say, wow, I get it, that person is this kind of leader. So I think you are going to enjoy that because it's very real and it just has immediate application. So I hope you enjoy the semester. Make sure that you do the attendance quiz, which you'll see under the quizzes, so that I know that you're active in the class. Do the pause orientation and complete that quiz so that you're familiar with the online environment. And read the syllabus, get that textbook, start working, right? Most importantly, you have 10 days from the day of this video. Okay, so you have until, whenever you get to watching this, you have until January the 30th to watch the movie, complete your Dropbox assignment, and get that submitted. So get started. I know it seems overwhelming, but you'll be fine. Get out there and get started. Read, be patient with yourself, and it's all going to start to come into play. Okay? Thank you, and I look forward to a great semester.